Hello there, this is Miriam, holistic life coach and mind body practitioner at Pain Outside the Box. Today I'm here in our garden accompanied by our dog April, who is actually waiting for me to throw her the ball, which she is totally obsessed with. She can't stop thinking about it when she's outside. Right. And in this video, I wanted to explain a very important topic to you, which is the pain cycle. So if you are in chronic pain, if you suspect that your pain is linked to stress and emotions, as the majority of chronic symptoms are, then you are likely in a pain cycle. The pain cycle is when, let's say, you get pain, you're starting to get afraid that you'll get more pain. You're starting to do the things in order to prevent getting more pain. You build up fear. And because of that fear, you increase your chances of getting the pain again. So a lot of people are in a kind of cycle. For some people, it looks like a pattern. Let's say their pain is worse in the morning or worse in the evening. So let's say as the evening approaches, they're already starting to wonder how it's going to be. They are trying to take it easy or do things in order to avoid a flare-up. They are essentially acting out of fear. Because of that, they increase their chances of actually having that flare-up. And you might be unaware of how you are contributing to this pain cycle. You might also think that the problem is actually just the pain itself. You know, you're not doing anything. You would be okay if it wasn't for the pain. But really and truly, the first step that will get you out of the pain cycle is to be aware that you are in one. You are in a cycle in some way or another. If you have a chronic symptom that has persisted, that has a certain pattern, or, you know, that tends to come up always in the same location, then you are in a pain cycle. So the first step is to be aware that you are in this cycle, and that how this works is a kind of ping pong effect. You get pain, you get more scared of it, you build more negative emotion towards it, and because of that, you increase your chances of getting more pain. You get it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because of that, you increase those emotions. You kind of, you say like, oh, I was right. You validate that I was right. You hold on to that pain as a problem, just as April is just holding on to the ball, not wanting to let go of it in any way, not wanting to give it to me. April? Nope. Okay, so you hold on just like April. You hold on to the pain through your thoughts, through the meaning you give it, through the fear-based behaviors, and that's how you stay stuck in the cycle. So, as I said, the first step is to be aware you're in such a cycle. The second step is to get aware of those fear-based behaviors that sometimes take the form of thoughts, such as, oh, will my pain get worse? Will it ever go away? What if it flares up badly again this evening? How am I going to wake up tomorrow morning? Is it going to be bad? So it can take the form of thoughts. It can also take the form of control strategies, such as, let me massage this area. Let me go in for a massage every week in order to avoid a flare-up. Let me stretch every morning to avoid a flare-up. Let me cancel that walk with my friend in order to avoid a flare-up. So these are all fear-based behaviors. So fear-based behaviors, as I said, can be thoughts, expectations, and behaviors such as like actions or the lack of action. So changing your life in any way to avoid a flare-up. That counts as a fear-based behavior. So you have to be aware of these things and to start cutting down on them bit by bit. You need to start letting go of these fear-based behaviors so you do not feed the pain cycle. The third step is to accept the pain as it is right now. By accepting the pain, or accepting the fact that, let's say, you're having a flare-up right now, you're changing the usual emotion of fear and resistance and frustration into more acceptance. It's like saying, okay, this is where I am right now, okay, and I don't need to do anything right now to fight it, to change it, because that's all resistance, that's all fear-based. So let me be okay with where I am right now. And things like acceptance meditations, body scan meditations, somatic tracking exercises. I have one of these myself on this YouTube channel. All of these can help you with acceptance. Ideally, you need to practice this when you are in pain. Maybe not when you're having like a 10-on-10 flare-up, but when there is some pain. Especially as you notice the pain increasing or popping up, work with those initial reactions of like, oh no, here it is again. Oh no, what if it gets as worse as last time? What am I going to do? What can I do to relieve it? So those would be your initial reactions. What you need to do is to drop those and instead enter into the space of acceptance. So there would be the pain, and instead of those usual automatic reactions, you'll be like, okay, I have pain right now, and I guess I might as well accept it. Why not accept it? It's here after all. It means that for some reason my brain thinks that I need it. So okay, let me not fight it. Just by doing this in itself, you're breaking the usual fear response, which is responsible for the pain cycle. Just by doing this, just by allowing yourself to accept it. So that is the third step. And finally, April has given me the ball, so... Because, you know, otherwise it's more like a ping pong effect, right? Just as I'm throwing the ball to April and she keeps bringing it back. Here she is, and not wanting to let go of it. Every time you're thinking of how to avoid pain and what you can do to fight it, you've got this ping pong effect. Like, you're thinking of how you can avoid it, and there you go, you get more pain. You're resisting it, you get more pain. So you need to kind of break this ping pong effect. And the fourth step I'm going to suggest is what we call emotional re-regulation, which can look different for different people. Emotional re-regulation is when you allow your body and mind to relax through positive distraction. And this could take the form of something that nourishes you, like a self-care activity that really nourishes you. Not something that is done specifically to ward off the pain. So if you're going in for a massage in order to avoid the pain, in order to fight the pain, then that's not the right emotional regulation. And even things like yoga and stretching, they can be good tools for emotional regulation, but if you are doing them specifically to fight the pain because you're scared that you would get a flare-up otherwise, they're not the right tools for you. So I like to keep things very, very simple with emotional regulation. I like to just maybe go out in nature. I like to do active meditation, which is just like being with whatever there is in the moment, noticing the sounds, noticing how the air feels against your skin, the sights, you know, kind of really getting out of my head, and rather than just being focused on any discomfort or any pain, I get present with other stuff as well, right? With other things, because just as you might have pain right now, you might also have access to these lovely sounds out in nature, or to these lovely views. Or you might have a pet like I do, and you can decide to be with that pet for a few moments and like really savor the moment, and you can touch the animal and play with the animal, and you know, despite your pain, there's slightly a few fun things that you can do, right? I mean, I got April when I was in the depths of my chronic pain 8 years ago. And at first, I was in this victim state thinking, oh, I won't be able to take care of her because she's a really high energy dog. And she requires a lot of exercise, and I can't even walk, let alone run. So that's when I was thinking in this like victim limited way of thinking. But then eventually I started realizing that, you know, I can think outside the box, and if I couldn't run with April, then I could play fetch with her. So I could still give her some exercise even though I couldn't run. That's just an example, right? I mean, I emotionally regulate with my dog in the garden, out in nature. For you, it might look like something completely different, right? I mean, it might look like watching a comedy. It might look like going out for a coffee with a friend, for as long as you avoid negative topics of conversation, or for as long as you avoid talking about your pain. It could, you know, look like painting, reading, any hobby that you enjoy that you could still do despite the pain. So at the beginning, just think of anything that you could still do despite the pain, and anything that you could enjoy, even if enjoyment is not the right word, anything that you could do without too much discomfort, that would get you a little bit out of your usual thinking patterns about pain. So it could also be like a boring task, but if it helps you focus on something else, then that could work as well. So don't be a perfectionist with your activities, with your emotion regulation activities. It could be something really, really simple. For as long as you're not constantly ping-ponging, like thinking, oh, what shall I do next in order to solve my pain? And if you catch yourself doing this, just bring yourself back to the task, to the activity, to the present moment, and that's it. Forgive yourself for having the thought. What we do when we're emotionally regulating, actually, is we are making new neural connections that are more positive. We're getting out of the usual thought patterns, and we're actually changing our brains. We're training ourselves not to be focused on the pain. We're training ourselves to feel different sensations, to savor different things. Because when you're in the pain cycle, very likely you are extremely focused on the pain. It's you and the pain and what you're going to do for it. But when you are starting to engage in other activities, when you're positively distracting yourself, then you have like another world out there. You start to realize that, oh, there's something else I can notice besides my pain. There's something else that's actually nice to notice, to see, to feel, or to smell. If you are limiting yourself, waiting for your pain to go away before you engage in anything that's slightly pleasant, then it's going to be very difficult to get out of the pain cycle. You have to start re-engaging first, and then things get easier, and then the pain will start subsiding. So don't wait for the pain to go away completely before you go out of your house, before you do anything. There's likely something that you can still do that is slightly pleasant or positively distracting to you. So to conclude, I'm just going to repeat the 4 steps that you need to follow in order to get out of the pain cycle. And so, number 1, recognize that you are in a pain cycle. Stop blaming other external factors and just realize that your thoughts, your feelings are in some way predicting and affecting your pain levels. Number 2, stop blaming pain as your enemy. Accept that it's there right now. If you find this difficult, do somatic tracking exercises, acceptance meditations, body scan exercises that get you to be more okay with the state that your body is in right now. Stop fighting your body and accept where you are right now, no matter how bad it feels. Number 3, ditch the control strategies and the avoidance strategies that are fear-based, that are fueling your pain at the end of the day. Even though temporarily this might be giving you some sort of relief, if you are doing these out of fear and too much avoidance, and then you are perpetuating the pain cycle, because the next time that you're going to do something slightly similar to what you've been avoiding, then you're likely going to trigger the pain because the brain is going to feel unsafe. And number 4, emotional regulation. Engage in anything that feels even slightly pleasant or enjoyable, even in a limited way if your symptoms don't allow you to go all out right now. So it's as important as the rest. It's the kind of informal work that a lot of people ignore because they think like that they have to just work with tools first and they just have to do the work. But this is part of the work. Part of the work is connecting with the world around you. So you don't just connect with the pain, but that you also connect with other stuff as well. And your focus is not just on the pain. So those are the 4 ways in which you can get out of the pain cycle. If you'd like to follow a more guided process, I would encourage you to check out my Pain-Free Breakthrough Program, which is a DIY recovery program. And yeah, it contains 14 lessons, a workbook that will guide you through emotional processing, that will make you aware of your stumbling blocks, of your fear-based behavior, that will get you to achieve a mindset shift that's needed to create the right conditions for pain-free. So check it out in the link in the comments. And that's all from me for today. I wish you all a lovely week ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.